Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the Palm Springs Unified District School District Equity Committee meeting. Today is October 15, 2024, and I will now call the meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Sure, we have Dr. Nicole Crawford, Coordinator of Diversity and Racial Equity.
I'm here.
Dr. Tony Signore, Superintendent of Schools.
Here.
Dr. Simone Kovac, Superintendent of Educational Services.
Here.
Charlie Irvin, PSUSD Board Member.
I'm here.
And Sergio Espericueta, PSUSD Board Member.
Here. And item number 2, approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Move for approval.
And second?
Second.
Okay. And now can we vote? Aye.
Aye.
All in favor, the motion passed. And item number 3 is the public comments. Have we received any electronic comments for this meeting?
We have not received any electronic comments.
And also, is there anyone present who would like to give an oral comment?
We do not have anybody present.
Okay, thank you. And now next item is item number 4, information and discussion, diversity and racial equity update report.
Okay, I am ready. I am going to share my screen, so please watch your eyes. And can you give me a thumbs up if you could see it? Perfect. All right, thank you very much. So happy October 15th, everyone. I'm excited to give our updates for the last couple months. So of course, I'd love to acknowledge the land that we are on, especially since yesterday was Indigenous Peoples Day. I'd love to thank the Cahuilla Band of Indians for allowing us to have our facilities residing on their territory. And I'd like to acknowledge that they are the people who have been here past, present, and time immemorial. I also like to share our equity statement. Couple words that really stand out to me is that we are committing to becoming a anti-racist, anti-hate organization. We're anti-discriminatory. We're creating spaces truly where all of our students are feeling welcome and included and respected along with their family and our staff every single day. So I'm very excited. I got some updates from May to October of this year. First thing, I know we kind of revamped our OE 13, our Operational Expectation 13, and we have 10 assurances. And the rest of the presentation that I'll be going over with our updates, I'll just kind of demonstrate how they, of course, align to our OE 13. So for today, I would like to give us some updates specifically on the Diversity and Racial Equity Conference that took place in September, as well as the Riverside County of Education Equity Conference that also took place in September. A couple updates on our equity leads and what we've been up to and training on, as well as updates on our conscious education team. And finally, the curriculum revision that we've done with conscious education based on different trainings, including verbal judo. And finally, some upcoming events for the next few months. I'll pause right now. Any questions, comments, concerns? No? All right. So first thing up, I just kind of like to review the DRE conference, or the Diversity and Racial Equity Conference. It aligns with operational expectation number 6. That states that we do ask that all employees be trained in unconscious bias and ongoing professional development opportunities regarding cultural responsiveness. And of course, our equity conference completely aligns with that. It was an amazing conference. It was our 3rd annual, and I'm hoping to keep our tradition alive with this. It took place on Saturday, September 7th at the Palm Springs Convention Center. The theme was Allyship and Beyond. We had 400 people in attendance. This includes community partners, parents and guardians, our own PSUSD staff, as well as participants from Desert Sands, which is our sister district here, and Coachella Valley. We also had some city council members I know, as well as people from Cal State San Bernardino and UC Riverside present. So it was a really great day. I know a lot of us were there in attendance. And it was just really special. A lot of people wore their own shirts that had like positive messaging and affirming messaging. And it was a really beautiful experience for all of us to participate in. And I had some photos. The upper left-hand photo is of our community partner tables. We had about 15 tables there with family engagement, DAP, the foundation. So just a nice array. And we thought it was important to include them, of course, to kind of spread awareness of what we have going on within the Coachella Valley. On the bottom left-hand side is our art project that we worked on. It's called the Tree of Diversity. And as participants came in, they were directed to our art table where we were able to put different fingerprints on this barren tree, right? Originally, the tree had no leaves. It was just, you know, the trunk and the branches. And as people came and were placing their fingerprints on the tree, it ended up being this really beautiful, really colorful, diverse representation of leaves, which is really, I think, reflective of our beautiful and diverse community. And by the way, we actually hung this tree, this art installation. We have it hanging in our Ed Services department. So it's really pretty, very proud of it. And then the large photograph on the right-hand side is our beautiful kiddos from our student panel. We had representation from all 4 comprehensive high schools. On the far left, the gentleman is Dr. Dominique Smith, who was our keynote speaker as well. And it was just a really fun time. Dr. Smith came up and presented on what allyship and co-conspiratorness really meant. And our students were on stage for about 20 minutes, answering questions, supporting one another, chiming in when convenient. And they did an amazing job, I will say. I'm very proud of our kids. They spoke from the heart. None of the responses that they had were, you know, tailored by any of us adults. It was truly the student experience. And I think that we learned a lot from that.
And Nicole, I have a quick question.
Sure.
I know, or I was in that event, and I see that all student was, they had a great question. Then there was good group of students. How the school district pick the student, or how they convince the student to be there, because it's not easy situation, you know, for any student.
It's intimidating for sure, board member Speriqueta, because I mean, they're kiddos, they're used to presenting, you know, but maybe not in front of such large audiences. So a lot of the students are a mix of either principal or counselor recommendation, and also students that we knew prior from going on the HBCU and HSI tour. So they were a nice mix. And of course, we can present the opportunity to students, but some of them are shy or some of them were nervous to get on stage. So it's honestly their call if they would like to participate. But every student that we offered the opportunity to, they were super excited to partake in it. I would have loved to have a stage of 20 kids there, you know, but I know, you know, time is of the essence and we can't have 20 kids on the stage at once. So I think we had a nice representation of, again, all 4 comprehensive high schools, speaking from their hearts, speaking from their true experiences, especially as kids of color. Yes, but it was completely either by invitation because we knew them prior, or by principal and or counselor recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about the DRE conference before we move on?
No, just wanted to say it was a great event, and
Thank
the
you.
students were amazing.
All right, so then I'd like to speak about the Riverside County of Education conference themselves. They had an equity conference 2 weeks after us in mid-September. And that I think fits well with OE, Operational Expectation 13, Assurance 4 and Assurance 6. So Assurance 4 specifically talks about training staff in and implementing instructional participation strategies, specifically to engage and support our African American or Black students, as well as Assurance 6, again, which is about ongoing professional opportunities. I feel like Assurance 4 and 6 fits well because all of PSUSD have the opportunity to attend our COE's equity conference. We did have a good amount of teachers and staff attend. And I myself was able to host one of the breakout sessions, and I'll go into a little bit more detail about that. So in my breakout session in particular, I was able to present with Tamara Dewey. She's from Marietta Valley Unified School District. She's the coordinator of equity and engagement. And our breakout session was on making schools a hate-free space, the weaponization of hate speech. And I know that our superintendent, Dr. Seniore, was able to attend. I know Mr. Irvin, you were also able to attend. Mr. Espericueta, you were there in spirit, I know. But it was a great breakout session. We were able to discuss how the use of language can be weaponized. We also had a ton of resources offered for staff and school sites and participants. We had a lot of QR codes that participants were able to scan in order to access those resources. We had recommendations for possible next steps for those of us who are kind of involved in creating hate-free spaces, and support systems that we can offer for students who may be victims of the weaponization of hate speech. And I would like to say, because of this experience, Simone, myself, Tony, we've all been kind of brainstorming about hopefully launching a no hate speech campaign. We're hoping to possibly launch this district-wide, possibly in January 2025. I know, Mr. Irvin, with your board comments, it really struck deep senses of urgency to support our kids. So please know that your ideas is really resonating with us in order to take this stand. So again, we're planning, it's still in the mix. So I don't want to reveal too much because I'm really excited when all the details are ironed out. We will be able to present it to the board and let you know this is the actual campaign and what the future entails with that campaign. I'll pause for any questions or comments. Good. Okay. So I have some awesome photos. I wanted to include Tony and Karen and Charlie in the mix because I think that was a really good shot. In the breakout session that Tamara and I hosted, we were able to have a lot of turn and talk partner conversations or small group discussions, as well as whole group discussions. That's Tamara and I on the upper left-hand side. And on the bottom left, you're able to see the good amount of participants who attended our breakout session. So it was a really good time. I really enjoyed it. And then I wanted to offer some updates on our equity leads. Assurance 4 and 6, again, I feel falls into this because, again, it talks about training staff, providing ongoing professional development, and that's exactly what we're doing with our equity leads this year. So I'm really excited because our equity leads are partaking in 2 different book studies. So the first one is Becoming a Social Justice Educator, and the second one is Belonging in Schools. So as of right now, for the fall semester, we're focusing on the first text, and in the spring semester, we'll be focusing on the second one. Both texts have been written by Dr. Smith, Dr. Dominique Smith, who was our keynote speaker at our equity conference this year. The second book in particular, Belonging in School, was also co-authored by Dr. Vinnie Pompey, who the board has also had the pleasure of working with in PSUSD as well. So the plan is for this year is we are doing a deep dive into the information in these 2 books, and then equity leads are expected to take the information and discussions that we have at our meetings and present the information that they've learned back to their school site, including having staff participate in different activities and discussions. So truly, we're trying to align the vision and the messaging to every single school site. I'll pause. Any questions, comments, or concerns? No, I'm just doing that good of a job, huh? No one has any questions? Okay, I will continue. So conscious education, as we know, this is the expectation for all of our staff to participate in. Again, it aligns really well with Assurance 6 because it does state we are going to offer unconscious bias training for all as well as professional opportunities. So currently, we officially have 19 very solid conscious education team members. We are a semi-small but very mighty team. We work really well together. This group includes a variety of different employees, including teachers, counselors, we have paraeducators, mental health therapists, we have a dean, as well as the 2 DRE specialists. As of now, we have about 1,325 staff that still need to complete the training. Over 1,700 have completed 1.0, and we've had over 350 staff members complete 2.0. 2.0 is not mandatory right now. It's not a required expectation, but that kind of speaks to, although we only have a 2.0 like every other month, we do have active participants who do sign up for the trainings when we do offer it. We have revamped the curriculum, which I'll kind of get into next, for 1.0. And our target next is to revamp 2.0, just to make it, more inclusive and get a little more meatier conversations and information.
Nicole,
Yes.
I think we already talked about this before. The parent is included in this kind of training or information?
No, as of right now, we only require staff, but the team and I are hoping we can create a conscious education for parents and guardians and for our students. So that's in the works. So I think our timeline was specifically revamp 1.0, revamp 2.0, then create a conscious education student version and a conscious education parent guardian version, because that has been requested by a couple parents. So I know that is something that we are working toward. Again, with limited time, we are trying to get together as a group in order to create the curriculum, but that is definitely my personal goal for this year, is to get that curriculum developed and to start pushing it out to the different audiences.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So with our conscious education, we revamped our curriculum based on a training. One training in particular we participated in was called Verbal Judo, and I'll go into that in a second. Again, with our conscious education curriculum revamp, it aligns well with assurance number 6 because it deals with our unconscious bias trainings. So our team attended a 2-day training. It was hosted by Riverside County of Education. It was called Verbal Judo. The training itself focuses on the de-escalation tactics. When you're in situations that can become, a little emotionally charged. And when our COE pushed this out to their schools districts, we knew that we would like to join because, as we know, unconscious bias training can be very emotionally driven. It can be triggering for participants. So we wanted to make sure that we really stayed up to date on best strategies and practices when we are facilitating these trainings. Of the 19 of us, 15 were able to attend. So that was an amazing turnout. We were the largest district represented there at the training, I will say, so kudos to us. And again, just based on the skills that we acquired, we were able to revamp the conscious education training. We implemented new strategies as well as new content. I have been able to sit down with Dr. Kovacs. We walked through the 1.0 curriculum, and we both agree, I think it's very much more inclusive of the student populations and community that we work with and represent. And I'm very proud of the work that we've done. Coming from where we'd started, it was very grassroots, to where we are now. We're like a well-oiled, very functioning machine. I'll pause. Any questions or concerns or comments? All right, I'll move on. Upcoming events. Pride is coming up next month. So of course, we're hoping everyone turns out to the Pride Parade and walks. We know a lot of our students participate in the parade. And I'm really pleased to announce as well, on December 5th, our COE has invited us back for a second time to be a part of their second annual student conference. It's a youth equity stewardship. And the plan is to attend the first session on December 5th at our COE, so at their main district offices out in Riverside. We're planning to take about 50 to 60 students. And then from there, we'd have follow-up meetings to talk about best practices and how we can get more students involved as equity ambassadors. So those are the two main events for the fall, and we have a lot more coming up in the spring.
Can you go into a little bit more detail about what that event looks like?
For the RCOE Youth Equity Stewardship?
Yes.
Sure. So this is the second year. So the first year RCOE hosted it around this time last year, and it was kind of envisioning like, let's just host an equity conference and kind of see where it goes because it's the first year. So now that they hosted it their first year, they've kind of ironed out the details a little more, and they've realized they truly want to create equity stewards at every single school site within RCOE. So we were one of the first 3 districts invited. So it was like a pilot year last year, and we were one of the 3 districts invited. So we brought 40 kids. We were the largest district there. And kids had a great time. But we realized, like, what are our next steps, right? So this year, they've kind of aligned a lot of the vision. So we will, again, be partaking in the training exercise, which is on December 5th. So that's all of the districts coming together. I believe this year there's 9 districts invited to attend. So we're one of the 9 this year. We'll be bringing about 50 to 60 of our kids out, and we'll be learning a lot of the information that RCOE wants us to take back to the school district. And then from there, RCOE is planning to have a follow-up meeting with our students, our equity stewards, in February or March. So the goal is, I think, to kind of mirror what Cathedral City High School has. They have a club, an Equity Ambassadors Club of about 40 students. And so our hope is to possibly create something like that at every comprehensive high school, where students are a lot more involved and they advocate for equity work. They partake in like restorative justice conversations and restorative practices. And they're much more, I think, taking a leadership role on campus, whether they work with the student body or with the administration team. So again, because it's only year 2, RCOE is still kind of working out their ideas. But I know as of right now, that's where we're kind of standing is we're going to take the kids out on December 5th, get them trained, have a follow-up session in February or March to kind of talk about what we envision next. And we are focusing on 10th and 11th graders so that next year when we kind of bring this into play, students are still at the school helping us implement what RCOE's vision is.
Curious, how are these kids getting picked?
So with Cathedral City High School, it's their Equity Ambassadors Club. So all 40 of them will be coming on board with us. And I actually reached out to principals today, and I asked principals to select 5 representatives from their school site who demonstrate, leadership capabilities, just because they are going to be considered leaders on campus. So I'm recommending either kids from like ASB or USB or within their cultural clubs, whether it's BSU, Si Se Puede, something like that. And asking again for 10th and 11th graders from their sites. So that way, when we come back to school next year, they're still on campus and helping us kind of roll out what this initiative is.
And just a heads up too, a lot of times when you have ASB and BSUs, the athletes tend to get missed.
I know.
So maybe if we can reach out to some of the coaches and not just the ASB and the clubs, because clubs are after school activity as well as sports. So sometimes, our kids that can't be involved in ASB happen to play sports. So maybe if we can reach out to some of our coaches as well, because there's leaders definitely in sport.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Thank you. Any other questions about Pride or the youth stewardship? No?
Are we having anything for the Pride specifically that's from the district, or do we have any specific groups that are going to the Pride Parade that our parents or anything can know about?
Maybe I can share something about that. I know the Family Engagement Center has been posting information for people in the district or families to sign up to join them at the parade. I have seen that, Board Member Irvin.
And typically we have about 5 schools minimum who do actually participate in walking in the parade. I know Palm Springs High School typically has their band perform. Cathedral City High sometimes has Folklorico perform. So it's definitely a school site specific involvement, but for district-wide, family engagement is a
And our LGBTQ Alliance meeting is this Thursday evening, and I'll be attending that. So we'll have some more information around that, and we'll put it in the Friday for more information for you, for the board. So they know exactly how we are reaching out to those groups and schools and families to join us.
Yeah, we walked in it. It was a
You
fun
sure
event.
did.
Sure did, yes.
I'll be there this year. I'll be there.
It was a fun, but
Yeah.
also let you know, Charlie, we also the communication that we're putting out monthly to the families, the videos coming out of our office also highlights LGBTQ awareness for November as well. So a mass communication will go out to them as well.
I think what I was speaking about was like any different groups that are marching in the parade or anything like that. That's what I meant.
Mhm. It's more site specific, and I know a couple of our bands and dance teams will be. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen just so watch your eyes, please. Okay. Any other
Yeah, but
questions?
they do receive invitations to attend.
No more question. We have the next item, the item number 5, that is member comments. Do any member have any comments that they would like to add?
I'd just like to say, keep up the good work. Continue to keep working to push the envelope to be a little bit better. And it's always great to see different types of activities and things going on, and just continue to push. I love to see academics, so I know the 22nd, after the 22nd, we'll get some numbers, so we'll be able to give the academic numbers. And so I think that'll probably be on the next presentation.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, also, and I like the way that we are doing with this committee. I have one extra question about this, because this is one of the formal committee formed by the board members. We had to prepare any report for the next meeting, or yes, in the board member comments and share our experience or information that we get from this committee meeting, or just general, or one kind of formal report to the rest of the board members? We don't have to do any.
I'm looking at Erica.
Yeah, typically we don't do any reports, like, so the foundation meets as well. We don't do any formal reports. Foundation's a little bit different. We do share the PowerPoint presentation with the board in the Fridays after the meetings, and then this video or this meeting is always posted on YouTube for them to view as well.
Okay. Thank you. We don't have any other comments. We're good. And now the next item is item number 6, approve the meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting for May 7, 2024?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second?
I'll second. I will.
All in favor?
Aye.
Get the
Aye.
motion. And the item number 7 is the setting and the next meeting. We already have any proposal for next meeting? Or?
I will actually reach out to both board members to see your availability. I know last time you guys wanted to kind of figure out what date works, and we landed on today. So I will email both of you guys and see when you would like to hold the next one, if that works.
That'll work for me. Thank you. And item number 8 is adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, with that, we end the meeting.
Good afternoon.